$1,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open. Today's 5 finalists are: in 5th place, Brooklyn's Joe Berardi. A win today would put the 1983 Firestone champion over $100,000. This for the first time in his career. The 4th place finisher, Ted Hannes. In 4 pro years, he's only won 1 major title. He always seems to be in the money. Look for his challenge. Qualifying 3rd, Steve Cook, the archer from Roseville. While it would sound so much more literary to say Sherwood Forest, Big Steve will settle for the sound of $23,000 in coins and his 2nd fall tour win in '83. In 2nd place, Norm Duke. Diminutive Norm has jockeyed his way into 4 championship round races in his 2 pro years and is 4-0 with a 241 plus average. And the man will be shooting at this week's leader, Wayne Webb, the 1980 PBA Player of the Year, and who today will be looking for his 12th win in 8 years on the tour. The $150,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open on the USA Network is brought to you in part by Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Mobile Detergent Gasoline, power for your everyday driving needs. By Levi's Jeans, Cords, and Shirts, the quality and style that you can count on. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet is USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge. Hello, everyone. Eddie Doucette, along with the man that has been very prominent on this USA PBA Tour. And, of course, I'm talking about Mike Durbin, president of the PBA, and a fellow that we didn't have a chance to work with last week. Mike, it's nice to have you back.
Well, it's nice to be back, Ed. I enjoyed last week for the little time that I was there, but it's always nice to be working with you.
We have a most interesting field today. It's kind of like a lot of Davids versus one big Goliath.
Well, it was almost 2 Goliaths. We've got 3 players here that are under 150 pounds. We've got one that's 275 pounds and another player that's 6'2", 195 pounds. So we've got really a variety, which I think speaks well for the sport of bowling, that anybody can play this game and anybody can do well at it.
All right, we're going to get an opportunity to see some of the people that are going to be performing in this event today. So let's take a look and tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the first one we're going to look at is Wayne Webb, who's the tournament leader. Wayne has been in a slump the entire year. The last 3 years, he's had 2 years over 100,000 and 1 at 92,000. This year, he's only made $47,000 coming into this tournament, but he says he's found something that was wrong with his game, that he's got it corrected. A win today would put him in the top 10, give him some respectability for the year.
One of his peers on the tour, a fellow that is considered to be a good friend, found that, gave him the tip, and he says his confidence is at a brand new level. Next?
Well, next we've got Norm Duke, who is one of the rising young stars. He takes 7 steps, has a very high backswing. He was on earlier in the year in Cleveland, and he just mowed down the field. He averaged over 240, won 4 games. Today he has to win 2 to win his 2nd title and start to fulfill some of that promise that everybody expects from him.
Only 19 years old. Can you imagine what a career?
I've got a son in college that age. In fact, my son in college is older than Norm is.
You better get cranking then, huh?
Well, I don't know if I can crank it with him, no.
And we move on to the next challenger.
The next challenger is the Goliath on the show, so to speak. Steve Cook, 6'7", 275, his 2nd show in a row. A win today would put Steve in the top 5 money earners for the year. He's had a great fall. He won our opening tournament in Limerick, the Touring Players Championship. He was 2nd last week. This week he shot an enormous block the last 8 games to qualify 3rd. He's going to be very tough to beat today.
And of course the remaining 2, that would be Joe Berardi and Ted Hannes, which leads us to our very first match of the day, and that should be a good one.
It should be an excellent one. Joe Berardi seems to always get up for the big events. He won the Tournament of Champions this year. A win today puts him over that magic $100,000 figure, and I know that that's his goal.
You mentioned the magic figure, and we have a special announcement. In order to do that, we're going to call in the commissioner of the PBA, Joe Antonora. And Joe, magic is a good word indeed, because what I think you're going to tell the folks out there today is truly indicative of the way this tour has grown and the kind of support they've had from their sponsors.
Yes, Eddie. A week ago, Brunswick announced that they were increasing the prize money for this tournament from $110,000 to $150,000. And through an agreement with Brunswick, the PBA will forward to the United States Olympic Committee a check for $15,000, 10% of the prize fund, in honor of the players in this tournament and as evidence of bowling's total commitment to the U.S. Olympic program.
That is magic, and that's a happy note. And that's the way we're going to start our show. Joe, thank you. Mike, you're ready to go to work, so am I. So let's get on to our very first event.
Working around here, a guy gets very wet on the outside and very dry on the inside.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Whoa, whoa, welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Welcome, well you know you're welcome. Welcome, everybody's welcome. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
It takes more than high octane to keep your car performing well. That's why these world-famous stunt drivers rely on Mobil detergent gasoline. They know a car with a clean carburetor performs better. It's as simple as that. Mobil detergent gasoline for your everyday driving needs.
Levi's, beige, corduroy, Levi's, green, corduroy, Levi's, blue, corduroy, Levi's, tan, corduroy, white, gray, brown, cream, corduroy, corduroy.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chorus, Levi's.
And we welcome you to the Brunswick Northern Bowl here in Glendale Heights, Illinois, the scene of our $150,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open, where our first two men are getting set to go. Joe Berardi is on the left. Ted Hannes is on the right.
And we're using lanes 21 and 2 here at Brunswick Northern Bowl to set the stage. Lane 21 seems to be much tighter or slicker. In other words, it doesn't hook as much as lane 22. In fact, Joe Berardi told me that he was standing 6 boards further right on lane 21. That's unusual too, Ed, because the entire house, 32 lanes here, almost all the left lanes hooked more than the right lanes, except for this pair.
We'll watch it closely. This is Ted Hannes, 6'2", 185 pounds. He's 26. He's from Zanesville, Ohio.
5-step player, quite a drift to the left in his approach. Bends over, pulls it through with speed, about the 12th board, a little high, 4-7. The players have been struggling in practice. They've had trouble finding the 1-3 pocket in practice. The scores were low all week long. It took only a 205 average to make the top 24. See how he leans forward there, drifts to the left. He's very strong here at the end. He pulls that ball through and has a beautiful hand release. But it took only a 205 average to make the top 24, 202 average to cash the top 48 as he makes the 4-7.
He averaged 211.1 during the week to get to this spot. Won 1 PBA title, and now it's Joe Berardi's turn. Joe, of course, occasionally can be heard in our USA telecast of the PBA Tour when Mike Durbin is out there bowling in the championship round. 5'9", 140 from Brooklyn.
Right about the 13th board, and solid 10. Interesting, I was watching Joe bowl, and every time he hit the pocket in the practice there for a while, he was striking. Soon as they turn the lights on, ringing 10. And that's what goes through your mind at that time.
Averaging 212 for the week.
Hard and straight at the 10 pin. Almost fouls. Just barely stopped in time.
Yep.
A lot of the players don't shoot spares in practice, and I didn't see Joe shoot any 10 pins. Of course, he very seldom misses when he throws it so hard at it. He wants a re-rack on lane 21.
Joe has won 6 PBA titles.
And he's won some big ones. He's won the U.S. Open, the ABC Masters, the Firestone Tournament of Champions. He gets up for those big tournaments.
11 years, just 28. 11 years on the tour. That'll take him back to the...
Yeah, teenager, right?
Right.
Little light. Ooh, 1, 2, 4, 8. He was telling me that he concentrates so hard to try and keep the weight of the ball out on his index finger. And when that weight shifts over to the little finger side of his hand, he makes a bad shot. If he can keep the weight out there, see how he spreads that index finger there? When he keeps that weight of the ball out there, he makes a good shot. At the 1, 2, 4, 8, has the spare.
So Joe Berardi and his opponent Ted Hannes now move along. Berardi trailing by 4 pins, with Hannes getting set to roll here in the second frame.
Ted's a very, very deliberate player. His ball speed is not as great as Berardi's, and he hooks it just a little bit more. He'll be playing close to the 3rd arrow on this lane. Swings it out about the 13th board and gets a light mixer. Again, we're sitting right behind lane 22, so I have a tremendous vantage point to see whether these players are hitting their target or not.
Hannes hasn't been around that long. Only 4 years, even though he's just 2 years younger than Berardi. Joe, as I mentioned, an 11-year veteran. And Ted, with that 1 PBA title, would certainly like to add to that.
Well, what's interesting with Ted is he's bowled 10 tournaments in Illinois, cashed in all 10, made the top 24 8 times. He goes Brooklyn and carries it. And he's made 3 shows and has his only win in the state of Illinois.
He likes it around here.
He sure does.
Likes Ohio, too. That's where he's from, as we mentioned.
And he just sets this ball short. He's trying to play it close to the 2nd arrow here, way short, but gets a tremendous break. It goes over, hits the Brooklyn, and strikes.
And from Brooklyn, Joe Berardi.
And trips the 4-pin out of there. Joe is really pumped up for this tournament. He knows if he wins, he goes over 100,000. And he's just really, the adrenaline's flowing, and his heart is beating fast, and he's ready to play. He had a pretty good shot in practice, but sometimes when they turn those lights on, you got to settle down just a little bit more.
He's won 81,940 this year, and if he were to win, go over 100, it would be the first time that he has done that in his career. Over 100,000 in 1 year.
Right there, pretty shot. He stroked that one a lot prettier. Eased up on the speed just a little bit. Made a nice shot. Right now, Hannes is up by 4 pins, going to what seems to be the easier of the 2 lanes, lane 22. Got that Brooklyn in the 3rd frame. He wants to take advantage of it now. He's right there, and couldn't get the 10-pin out. Pretty good shot. Ball just half pocket, and left foot is known as the weak 10. Keeps the match close. If he makes this, 3-pin match. Ted's another player that likes to flatten the ball out or straighten it out when he shoots cross lane at spares. He won't turn this ball at the 10-pin. He'll throw it straight at it. Breaks the wrist back. Hard and straight now. And that's how to make it. Just easy as pie. There's a nice tip for the fans at home.
And he's up 3, is Ted Hannes. And we'll have a chance to see that scoreboard to give you an idea what we're talking about as we roll him up here at the Brunswick Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, Illinois. The 1983 Brunswick Memorial World Open. Hannes not real sure whether he likes what he's doing out there or not right now. Trying to get the feel. Trying to get himself into a comfortable mood.
I don't know what he's upset about. Something bothered him. Moved in a little bit on this left lane. He's high, trips the 4-9 out of there. He says, all right, I'll take it. Gives us a smile up there.
So here he is, Ted Hannes right now, as he has himself the lead. And we are rolling along here at the Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, and we will return for our Brunswick Memorial World Open.
Thanksgiving weekend and the big USA 1 year-end sales drive is on. Chevy dealers are out to sell 250,000 cars and trucks by year's end. With so many to sell, it's dealing time. And to make it easy to buy now, here's a first-time offer from Chevrolet. Take retail delivery now and make no monthly payment until March 1st with GMAC Finance. When you buy a new Chevette or Citation 2 or any new Blazer, pickup, Suburban, or El Camino, see your Chevy dealer now.
Whether you just turned 10 or just turned pro, there's a Brunswick ball built for you. In the weight you need, the colors you want, for pinpoint accuracy, explosive power. Built to take out things like a charge of dynamite. That's Brunswick.
Now buy an LT48 Edge or Charger from your authorized Brunswick dealer and get this limited edition collector's mug free.
Nice shot, Larry.
Thanks, Mike. Does that mean you give me a plug in Tour Times?
Not really. You're better off asking your wife, Pam. She's got a column in Tour Times also.
Well, for Pam to put me in Tour Times, I would have to convert to 7/10 split blindfolded.
Seriously, Larry, I know that you helped to originate Tour Times. How come?
Well, people everywhere have been trying to follow the Pro Tour on a week-to-week basis, and it was almost impossible for them to get the coverage they wanted. Now with Tour Times, it's easy.
Right. Tour Times is published every second tournament. It has detailed stories on each event with full statistics. There are updated lists of the top 50 money winners, the 20 leading averages. It has photos, schedules, regional results, and coverage of the Women's Pro Tour also. It's really must-reading for any fan of bowling. Here's how you can subscribe to Tour Times.
For 15 issues of Tour Times by first-class mail, call 1-800-USA-1000. Charge to MasterCard or Visa, or send $15 by check or money order to Tour Times, Box 49648, Atlanta, Georgia.
From the Brunswick Northern Bowl, Glendale Heights, we are in progress in our Memorial World Open. Brought to you by Brunswick, and this is Joe Berardi. When we say World Open, we're not kidding. They had 17 foreign amateurs here, and 3 of them ended up doing a pretty good job. Very representative.
Right. If I can pronounce these, I'll probably butcher these names. Tampani Patola of Finland was the highest. As Berardi goes for the lead and leaves a 10-pin. Takeo Sakai of Japan finished 37th. I crossed with him the last squad. And Mats Carlson, who's generally conceded to be the best bowler in all of Europe, from Sweden, he finished 46th and earned $990. Hard and straight at the 10-pin and makes it.
Of course, the folks are probably asking the questions. How can they be listed as amateurs and win prize money?
Well, this particular tournament, they're able to do it because they're invited over as from the Brunswick Corporation for this particular world tournament, and so they can earn money in this tournament. When we bowled the Grand Prix in England, they were not able to earn money in that tournament.
Interesting. Joe Berardi.
And the light hit doesn't carry. Joey's getting a little down. It's only the ball in the pocket, running out of frames. It's down by 5 pins.
So the defending 1983 Firestone Tournament of Champions winner, Joe Berardi, trying to pick it up, and does. And Berardi now trailing this man, Ted Hannes, by 5 pins, as Hannes is about to approach the 6th frame.
On a strike, on his good lane, can increase the lead to 15 with a double. Gives it a lot of room, and doesn't carry the 7-pin. We still have a tight match here within 5 pins. That hit could have carried. In fact, that was probably a higher percentage hit during the week than solid was. When we hit solid, we left a lot of solid 10s this week. Cross lane at the 7-pin. Ted throws it straight at it and has the spare easily.
Ted's high gain for the week was a 258.
There's a pin in one of the channels on lane 21, and he's asking the mechanic to get it back out of there. We have a PBA rule that you're not allowed to bowl when a pin is in that channel. You have to get it out of there so the pin couldn't bounce off of it and hit another pin and aid you in that way. So we're waiting here for a minute.
Hannes, of course, interested in trying to add to his career earnings total. Win today would put him over $200,000 for his career. He's got $197,195 coming in.
And there's Brian Voss, our alternate for the second week in a row. He had a double of the 10th frame in order to make it last night, was unable to do it. I know he was disappointed because he had been up as high as second place going into the last round, and but he's a promising young star. He's had 3 great weeks, first, sixth, sixth. Ted on his more difficult lane. Moved in a little bit more in this lane, and he's found something now in that left lane.
He sure has. Picks up the big strike here in the 7th frame.
Now he moved in a little deeper, closer to the 3rd arrow. That last ball where he tripped the 4-9, he gets it. I think he moved a little deeper off of that, and the ball holds pocket. Solid in the 1-3. Perfect.
Hannes, incidentally, picked up an interesting record. A record for money earned without the benefit of a win. $93,000 in change in 1982 and never won. One stop.
Joey's back in the pocket and carries the 10 this time. That was his best shot of the match right now. Watch the follow through. Out to the right. Ball holds pocket, and the 6 gets the 10. Big shot coming up. He's down 5 pins. Going to his tougher of the two lanes.
He's a very entrepreneurial young man. Does a lot of clinics, travels to Europe and back, does things in the New York area. He's done well.
Sure has.
Joe Berardi.
It's high, and he trips the 4 other. Says, all right. Believe me, he did not trip that many 4 pins during the course of the week, and he's tripped 2 already. Joey gets his thumb down on this shot. He does not make the best of shots, but the ball holds. The 2-pin goes to the wall, comes back in the butt of the 2-pin, says goodbye 4-pin. Ted Hannes now finds himself trailing for the first time in the match. And is it going to get it? Yes. Oh, a messenger pin. So we have a trip 4 and a messenger pin. The 2 doubles here.
Got a little hand English going on that one. Talked it down with a hand.
Ted, crouched over style. He watches the target, saying, come on, come on. All right.
Thank you.
He watches that. Yeah, thank you. Goes back up by 5 pins and has to strike here in the 9th frame to keep Joe Berardi from having the opportunity to shut him out. Big shot right here.
+5.
Right there. Oh, pretty shot. Pretty shot. Ted found something on that left lane that he was struggling on, and now he seems to be wired on both lanes. That puts him up by 15 pins. He knows he made a good shot here as soon as he lets it go. He's moving to the left, saying carry. Jump there. Berardi's in a must-strike situation, and he has to have this one. He's down by 15 pins.
You saw Hannes' reaction, smiling at himself as he looked into the monitor.
And it's a little tight and doesn't get the 4-pin out. A good shot. Doesn't get it out this time. He's in big trouble now. That puts him down 16 pins. If he makes the spare, which I'm sure he will, he has to double in the 10th and hope that Hannes opens. Hard and straight at the 4-pin and has it. Joey sees his opportunity to win $100,000 this year slipping away from him. There's Ted.
A little bit more confidence
Yeah,
now.
ironically, he was struggling the whole practice session and seems to have bowled better once the lights came on, where Berardi was just crushing him in practice.
Berardi, who was selected as a member of the first All-American team in 1979.
And probably will be again this year. It's back in the pocket and chips the 4 out, but leaves the 9. And Ted Hennis is going to be the winner. Well, he's still got to get a decent count. He hasn't won completely yet. At the 9 pin, has the spare. A strike, and Joe will finish up with 212.
That's been his average for the week. So if he strikes out here, he'll end up on the mark. And not real happy about the way this one is turning out right now.
If Joey strikes here, Ted is going to need 8. 211 he winds up with. Still needs 8. He gets 8 on the first ball. No matter what he does on the second ball, he's going to be a winner. So he can leave the 4-6 or the 8-10 or anything. Just as long as he doesn't get a bad count, he'll still win. Gives it a lot of room. It's not going to make it. And he leaves the 1, 4, 1, 2, 8, 10. But he can still, if he gets 3 of these, he's still going to win. He needs to make the 1, 2, 8 in order to win this match. But that's just the wrong thing that he wanted.
So he'll go for the big cluster.
If he gets 2 of them, we'd have a tie.
Interesting.
I'm sure he's just going to play for the 1, 2, 8 here. And wait a minute. He went right around. Boy, I thought he might have gone by, but he's still the winner of the match, even though he missed the spare.
So it ends up 213, 211. Close enough. Joe Berardi is eliminated, and Ted Hennis, who appeared 6 times in the championship round last year without a victory, will move on to the next challenger. And we will have that match coming up for you. Steve Cook moving into the picture. That will be the matchup when we return to Glendale Heights.
Jimmy Martin is not a professional bowler, but he's changed the game of bowling forever. With a Martin Lane Reader, you'll be bowling the best scores of your life in minutes. Stop line-finding guesswork. Get the ball into the pocket fast. And here's Jimmy Martin.
Hi, my Lane Reader will show any bowler where to stand on the approach for strikes and spares. I used it to win the 1981 New York State Tournament. As a 162 average bowler, everybody was surprised when I went and averaged 226 to win. Now the pros recommend it. Please listen to what 20-time national champion and PBA Hall of Famer Dick Ricker discovered.
I've known amateurs around the world who are totally amazed at how fast they can line up strikes and pick spares with the Martin Lane Reader. Here's how to order yours.
Order your Martin Lane Reader today. Here's how. For COD Visa and MasterCard orders, call toll-free 1-800-USA-1000 or save COD charges and send $11.95 plus $2 for postage and handling to Lane Reader, Box 49648, Atlanta, Georgia.
Friday, Night Flight takes in the music of Steve Miller and announces the prize winners of Cinemagic's Film and Video Festival, all on Night Flight at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on USA Friday.
On the premiere of USA's College Basketball 84, shooting star Kenny Fields and the UCLA Bruins look to set the tone for a championship season when they take on the Long Beach State 49ers. The spirit continues on the premiere of College Basketball 84, Saturday. This December, USA brings home plenty of holiday cheer.
We'll continue our exclusive live national coverage of the NHL.
Run and gun with some of the world's greatest athletes on USA's Special Edition and Thursday Night NBA.
You'll share the ups and downs of our nation's finest on College Basketball 84.
And USA Paxawallop with Friday Night Boxing.
The PBA Tour and much more.
It's a season of joy with an unparalleled sports lineup in December, only on USA.
Back to the $150,000 Brunswick Memorial World Open. Ted Hennis is on the left, and on the right, Big Steve Cook. this should be a very interesting match. Cook, of course, very powerful bowler, as they congratulate or wish each other best. I guess the congratulations, they can hold that for a while. Hannes with a good win over Joe Berardi, moving on here. A 2-pin win. Probably not one of his more artistic wins, but you take them.
Oh, absolutely. Anything you can, you take. As you see Ted putting thumb all the way in, hand right underneath the ball, holds it out away from his body. A lot of muscle in Ted's game. And leaves a soft 10 in the first shot. It's been a long time since Ted won a game on television. He wasn't sure how many practice shots he got. Had to ask our tournament director. The man waiting to bowl, Steve Cook, 6'7", 275, seems to be the player that has the best shot to the pocket among the 5 players today. Cross lane at the 10-pin, has the spare.
Well, you mentioned an interesting thought there. He did not do all that well in championship round appearances last year. He was 0-6.
Right.
So that's been a problem. Here's Julie Hannes.
She's looking on and rooting.
Oh, yeah. Hello to all the folks at Zanesville.
Ted pounds that rosin into thumb and fingers and then wipes off the ball. Or Steve does, not Ted.
That ball right now is pleading. Easy.
Steve is playing extreme outside line close to the channel. His ball going steady with the channel, really.
Watch the hook.
Oh, he set that one short, and it goes high. Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn side. And Cook knocks them all down.
And Steve has been known to get a few of those on television, as Earl Anthony will attest to. Big man, 5-step. Short middle steps here. See how short they are? And that cupped wrist, and then a long slide. Tremendous turn. Probably one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful ball on the PBA Tour today.
Good enough for 7 PBA titles. Going home for Thanksgiving. Get a chance to visit those 2 young children and his wife Candy back in Roseville, California.
And what Steve wants to do is simply give the ball room. It comes back. Ball won't hold for him, but he can give it room. And he just didn't do that. He didn't give it. He's a little nervous. I've never seen Steve tentative like he is right now. He's just not aggressive in attacking. Leaves the 2-4. And that's simply the reason for those 2 shots. He's just apprehensive right now.
And the commissioner in the camel hair coat, Joe Antonora. Sitting next to him, Jack Reichert, who is with the Brunswick Corporation, the chairman. Joe has done a marvelous job as the commissioner of the PBA.
Leader of our ship. And almost chops a bit, gets the spare. Steve kind of looks at it. He's wondering what's going on here. He's going to take that ball and work on that thumb hole some. He has a unique way of putting tape in the thumb hole. He has a grip that he attaches the tape to. Has a gigantic thumb hole, as you might imagine. Ted right now is in an opportunity, though, to jump out to an early lead if he can get a double here.
Got a 258 for a high game this week.
Pretty good shot. Soft 10 again. Right there, just a little weak. Ted bumbled something, but I couldn't read his lips that time what it was.
Maybe we won't want to read his lips.
No, Ted's not. You won't hear any profanity out of Ted.
Good, good. Only career win, the Waukegan Open. Not that far from here.
Not very far at all. I'm sure he's thinking that. Has the 10-pin. So Cook has a 1-pin lead after 2 frames. Cook puts the ball back on the rack. Evidently, he's got that thumb hole the way he wants it now. Ted asking for a re-rack on lane 21. As this match is kind of getting off to us, we have 2 of the more deliberate players on the PBA Tour bowling in this match. In fact, our producer in the back predicted if these 2 players bowled one another, the match could take an hour, but I don't think it'll be quite that long. But In any case, we have two very deliberate players. Tanis is in no hurry ever, and Cook has been known to aim a few seconds also.
Well, Ted knows that the highest he ever finished here was 9th, and that was last year. And he's already bettered that, but he'd like to go all the way to the top, so he's going to take his time.
Back in the pocket, pretty shot. He's got that left lane figured out now.
It doesn't hurt to have a little patience, I guess.
Yeah, well, in here we had to have patience. See how he pulls that ball through at the end. He's so strong. Good lift, all 10 right in the pit. Cook now with that extreme outside angle, trying to give the ball room. The worry on that of giving it room is that you might throw one in the channel. See?
And he does lay it way out there. Watch how far he starts out to the left.
Gave that one more room. And that's the result. The Spins didn't have a chance that time.
Watching him in practice before, he was putting it right out there on that first board.
Hanging it over the edge,
Yeah,
actually.
he was.
A few times. If he gets going today, it's going to be exciting for the crowd, that's for sure. But there's always a chance, as we see the 40 to 39, Cook having 1 pin advantage. Again, he just wants to give it room. Very smooth, 5 steps. And he hits the 610 out of there. Not the best of shots, but he got away with it. Here it goes, comes in high. Watch the 3-pin, go to the wall and get both the 6 and the 10. The 10 going very late.
But I think important again to mention the fact that he's not starting it out as far to the left, coming inside a little bit.
But he's still striking. He's
And
just
striking.
a little tight. If he gets loose, look out. Ted's got to strike here to keep pace. Right in the pocket. Solid 10. Good shot. There were a lot of those this week. Just an awful lot of solid 10 pins left the entire week by all the players. That's one reason why the scores were moderate and low.
Ted finished second over there at the Northern Ohio, which is right in your backyard, Mike Durbin.
Certainly is. Yeah, that was one where he opened in the 10th frame to just more or less give it to Mark Roth. Has the 10 pin, dead center. Threw it well. Ted's lined up on both lanes right now. It's a matter of whether he can carry.
Down 11. As we mentioned, in the first match between Ted Hannes and Joe Berardi, he has had a better than decent week, averaging a little bit over 211.
Lane 21, close to the 3rd arrow he'll be playing. Back in the pocket. There's the one he's looking for.
Oh, that's a big one.
That's a big, you see that 10 pin cost him 20 pins right there.
And so there it is, as we watch Ted Hannes, and we are going to return when we come back to Glendale Heights after a break for these words on the USA.
For 8 hours a day, we're doing what we like doing. Can't beat that.
Wanna bet?
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. So welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Chevy Top taking charge.
S10 Blazer.
Earth.
Keep moving.
Wind.
Keep storming. S10 Blazer.
Fire.
Keep blazing. S10 Blazer.
Water.
Keep churning.
In all of nature, there's nothing like the thrill of an S10 Blazer. Chevy Tough is taking charge.
Whether you just turned 10 or just turned pro, there's a Brunswick ball built for you. And the weight you need, the colors you want, for pinpoint accuracy, explosive power, built to take out pins like a charge of dynamite. That's Brunswick.
Now buy an LT48 Edge or Charger from your authorized Brunswick dealer and get this limited edition collector's mug free.
This year, I'm not putting Duracell batteries under the trees.
Oh, no! But they play more tapes.
Give you more flashes. Oh.
My mind's made up.
But the toys. Duracell keeps them going up to 6 times longer than regular carbon batteries.
They have to go under the tree.
Nope. This year, I'm putting Duracell in the stockings.
Enter Duracell's $100,000 sweepstakes at your local store.
260-pound Steve Cook, 6'7", making his 7th championship round appearance this year and his 2nd in a row. If you saw our telecast from Syracuse last week, you remember Steve, and boy, he had it going real strong for a while.
I know, I was a victim of one of those.
Yes, you sure were. Until he bowed to Joe Salvemini in the final match of the tournament. Here he is, Steve Cook, Roseville, California.
Steve finished 2nd in this tournament last year. Looks good. Looks good. And carries. Pretty shot. Puts it up to 21 pins. That was his best shot of the match right there. It just really had good extension, good lift, and good speed.
Steve, who won the Touring Players Championship this year, and who at one time used to do a lot of work with the bow and arrow. He likes archery, and perhaps the biggest bowman or archer that there is.
Robin Hood, huh?
Yeah, right out of the forest. Interesting man, very affable. Don't want to get him mad, though, I wouldn't think.
And, ooh, he had a messenger pin come flying across there at the 7 and hit it, but did knock it over. Keeps Ted Hannes in the match. Keeps Ted Hannes close to the match. He knows it's in the pocket. See him moving. What's that carry? And moves pretty quick for a big man, doesn't he? Now, he missed a couple spares in the championship match last week. He missed a 7-pin, and I think he missed a 4-7. He'll throw hard and straight at that 7-pin. And has this one. No problem. No problem.
Well, the last week was the first time I had seen as many misses on an attempt to pick up splits. In fact, even to pick up spares. I believe in that final 5 last week, we had 3 misses.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Yeah, oh, sure. Not infallible. They're the best, but they do make mistakes.
This is the biggest shot of the match right now so far for Ted Hannes. He's down 20 pins. He's not struck on this right lane since the last game, and he needs to get a double to get himself back in the match.
And to re-qualify for the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
He's there, a little high, and trips the 4-pin out. Interestingly enough, the last shot was a better shot. It left a 10-pin, and this one trips the 4-pin out.
Why?
Well, last one, the ball hit the pins actually too hard, and the 6 flew right around the 10. This one, the ball hit the pins just in that right place where the 2 can go to the wall and trip that 4-pin out of it. As we see, there, the Hannes 79, a double working. Cook with 119 in the 5th frame of spare up. If Ted strikes here in the 7th frame, we have a tie match. Exactly 10 pins. This has been his good lane. Lane 21. He's got to take advantage of that break of that trip 4. Gives it more room, and 7-pin rocks, but doesn't fall. Puts it back to 11 pins. Couldn't get 2 breaks in a row. He tripped that 4-pin. This one was just a little light.
Good crowd on hand here today. You see part of the gallery in the background.
At the 7 pin. Ooh, just gets it.
Well, we call that a trim. We won't go for the full haircut. We'll just go for the trim.
Just a little trim.
It's kind of cut back the sideburns a little.
Cook up 11 pins on lane 22, 7th frame. Seems to have gotten over his jitters. He's ready to go now. And wow, that ball just turned right. Leaves the 2-4, and he thought it was going to be solid in the 1-2 pocket. He eases up on that speed just a little bit, and that ball really takes off. It puts this match under 10 pins, makes it a 9-pin match right now as we head to the closing frames.
Steve is also a former Firestone Tournament of Champion winner. Won his title in '81.
Bowled very well in that event year after year. Shooting this spare off his strike line. And I guess that's the way to do it. He makes it easily. Has the spare in the 7th frame going to the 8th. The difference, 9 pins. Cook has them. Wants a re-rack on lane 21. Wants a re-rack on 21. As we see the scoreboard there, Hannes 128 in the 6th, with a spare up in the 7th. Cook 137, also with a spare up, the 9-pin differential.
It's anybody's match.
Both players really taking a lot of time.
Oh boy. Well, they have a lot riding on this one. $23,000 to the winner of the tournament.
Gives this one a lot of room. And boy, did it come back. Wow-wee. Woo. Carries that light hit. Really sent this one out almost right to the edge here. Watch that ball go out near the edge, come back. Now watch it turn right here, and the head pin go to the wall, and the pins are just dancing to get down. And Cook now puts his hand over that hand dryer. Ted wants to keep it under 10 pins. He's right there. Solid 10 again. Wow, just can't throw it any better than that. And puts the match right at 10 pins. Ted's bowling. Nice game. He's had every ball in the pocket. He's got 4 10 pins now already and a 7 pin with just 2 strikes. Or 3 strikes, I guess he has.
The winner of this match will meet Norm Duke, who finished 2nd in the positioning round up to this point, with Wayne Webb at #1 position.
Cross lane at the 10 pin. Has the spare. Going to the 9th frame, and this is a crucial shot. If Ted strikes here, he has potential of 227. He's exactly 10 pins behind. He has to have this strike to keep himself alive. He looks up at the score, figures it out, looks at the rack now. Right now, what you're thinking when you're looking at that rack is you don't want another solid 10 pin. So if there's any doubt in your mind, you take a re-rack. He must think it's a good rack this time.
We might mention here again, we discussed this last week with the TV lights on. These lanes are much hotter, so they bowl a little bit differently. The oil is not quite what it used to be. It usually is in terms of being spread out across that lane during the week.
A little high. Oh, and that does it. The 4-6-10. The ball just turned left a little soft with the speed, and Cook is in the driver's seat all the way right now.
Mike, do you notice a difference when you're bowling TV as opposed to regularly from the standpoint of heat? We had a thermometer out there last week.
Well, it is. Yes, it is a lot warmer when you're bowling. Enormously warmer. Fires hard at the 6-10 to try and bounce it out there. It doesn't happen. Has 173 in the 9th frame. And Cook has a 24-pin lead. Cook just needs a mark in the last 2 frames in order to be a winner. Ted bowled a nice game, and 1 bad shot had the full penalty.
Steve's career TV record is 23-13, and he has averaged over 215, so he's looking to better that again today.
six pin doesn't go.
A little shaky there. It wouldn't fall.
Easy spare, though, for Steve. I'm sure he'll have no trouble with the six pin. Pounds that rosin on the thumb hole and finger holes for every shot.
He really does pack it in there, doesn't he?
He sure does. It wipes the ball clean. Helps him get a better grip. And he missed it. Just as I said, I figured he'd have no trouble with it. The ball turned right, and he missed the six pin. It gives him 185 in the ninth frame. He's still in the driver's seat. A spare and 9 pins, and he's going to be a winner. Hey, boy, that's as you see the scoreboard there, both players opening in the ninth frame, 185 to 173. The difference 12 pins.
Didn't go to the straight ball.
Oh, he threw the hook at it.
That's
right, exactly right. Steve throws a hook at almost all of his spares except for the 7 pin. Ted looking on, thinking back to that ninth frame now, if he'd have just got a strike there. Or even a spare. He's high. Brooklyn, and gets a Brooklyn. 2 Brooklyns in the game.
Yeah, right, 2 of them.
And he's going to be a winner now. He needs 9 pins on 2 balls to be a winner.
It's not what he attempted to do, but the result was exactly what he was looking for. He's won over $66,000 this year.
A win this year would put him right close to $90,000.
He's done well in the 6 years he's been on the tour, Mike.
Oh,
he's
done
got
extremely well.
7 titles. That's not bad. Better than 1 a year.
He's had 2 a year each of the last 2 straight years. He's trying to win here to make it 2 a year for the last 3 years. Gives this one more room. And that's it. He's a winner.
Well, that'll set up a match in the next one between the Giant and the Lilliputian. Talking about Norm Duke, who will tow in at 5'6" and maybe 120 pounds, versus this fellow, 6'7", 260. That's the nice thing about bowling. You can have the little guy versus the big guy, and the little guy's got just as good a shot at it.
And Steve was telling me earlier, Ed, as he missed it, gets the 6'10", 9, gets 3 on that last ball. The lane is really hooking in the middle lane, winds up with 208. He almost threw that one off the lane.
And isn't it interesting that his average for the week was a little over 208, and he ends up that way here in this first match today.
But what he was telling me is we have bio sheets every week that they give us, and the bio here has Cook listed at 260 pounds, and he corrected mine, said it was a little short, that he's up to 275.
Oh, boy.
And he looks bigger than that. That might be a little short, but we'll take his word for it.
Well, eating on the road is not exactly conducive to keeping yourself slim and trim.
Right, as I can testify here.
You've got to go and get what you can get and when you can get it.
Ted gets a spare. Strike here, finish out at 193. Bowled a nice game and just had no carry. 191.
And so our winner is Big Steve Cook as he defeats Ted Hannes 208, 191. And so that means that Cook now will move along to face his next challenge, 5'6" Norm Duke. We'll have it for you when we return to Glendale Heights, Illinois.
In the West, where Levi Strauss & Company began, how clothes feel has always been just as important as how they look. That's why Levi's Action Jeans have both an easy care fabric that gives and a fit that offers a skosh more room. It's a level of comfort that's attracting more men every day. Levi's Action Jeans, a real comfort from Levi's menswear.
At a terriada like this, one great tradition just leads to another.
Hola, welcome, ven a gozar. To Miller Time. Hola, ven. It's all yours. Afileria. And it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here, the rich, smooth taste of of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Chevy Tough is taking charge. Are you tough enough to make it with the U.S. Army? Chevy trucks are. The Army contracted for 53,000 tough, full-size Chevy pickups and Blazers. These rugged four-wheel drives are regular production vehicles powered by the proven 6.2-liter diesel V8. Need a truck as tough as the U.S. Army's? Just sign up at your Chevy dealers today. Chevy Tough is taking charge.
Of the best-selling motor oils today, 14 now save gas. But only one saves gas. Offers cold weather starting down to 35 degrees below zero. And the best engine protection under extreme heat. In fact, the best engine protection you can give your car. Only one. Mobile One.
This is the USA Network.
The Brunswick World Open is always an eventful gathering. Now, on this occasion, a significant one also. With me right now, we have two gentlemen. We're going to get to those. This is Jack Reichert, who is the chairman of the Brunswick Corporation. And Jack, I would have to say that it is your honor to make a very honorable presentation.
Well, Ed, thank you very much. It certainly is. This is the fourth memorial. We've had the Invitational 12 years, but only 4 times have we had it as a memorial. The first 3 years we have recognized professional bowlers, great professional bowlers. This is the first year we've recognized a non-professional bowler, which makes it particularly significant since Frank Baker has done so very much for the bowling industry, being the executive secretary of the American Bowling Congress for many, many years, being really the driving force to get the sport of bowling into the Olympic Games, and so many, many other achievements. So it's with a great deal of pleasure that I recognize Frank Baker as a 1983 honorarium and present him, Frank, with this plaque as our honorarium for the Brunswick Memorial World's Open, as well as a check for $5,000 to the National Bowling Hall of Fame in Frank Baker's name.
And isn't it nice to see a giver become a receiver? Frank Baker?
I want to thank Mr. Reichert and everybody at Brunswick for this great honor. I also am aware that as an administrator, you win laurels like this only because you've been surrounded by a lot of great people.
And this is what makes bowling such a fabulous sport. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you again.
And thank you for being with us. And we'll remind you that we have more exciting bowling coming up, like the National Resident Pro Championship. That'll be December 13th in Chamblee, Georgia. Right now, we've got business to tend to right here at Glendale Heights, Illinois. The Brunswick Memorial World Open will continue in just a minute.
Whether you just turned 10 or just turned pro, there's a Brunswick ball built for you. And the weight you need, the colors you want, for pinpoint accuracy, explosive power. Built to take out pins like a charge of dynamite. That's Brunswick.
Now buy an LT48 Edge or Charger from your authorized Brunswick dealer and get this limited edition collector's mug free.
Here you go, Leo, a nice bowl of Campbell's soup.
Oh, thanks, Claire.
You know, I missed you last week.
Yeah, well, I've been putting in a little overtime.
At least you're taking care of yourself.
Huh?
Soup, Leo. This article in Reader's Digest says that soup's one of the most nourishing foods you can eat. Why, this Campbell's chicken noodle is just right for a big, strapping guy like yourself.
You know, Claire, it's nice to know that someone's looking out for me.
You noticed.
Campbell's soup is good food.
After you win a tough race, you want to take it easy, but you don't want to slow down.
Welcome to Miller time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. So welcome to Miller time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Chevy Tough is taking charge. Chevy S10 Blazer is out ahead of Bronco 2 with InstaTrack, the revolutionary system that lets you shift from freewheeling two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive high and back at any speed. And Chevy S10 Blazer beats Bronco 2 with two-wheel drive they don't offer, a four-cylinder engine they don't have, and mileage that's even better than last year. Chevy S10 Blazer. Chevy Tough is taking charge.
And we're back. We are in Glendale Heights, Illinois, the Brunswick Northern Bowl for the 1983 Brunswick Memorial World Open. Steve Cook on the left, and the young man Norm Duke on the right.
Is that a picture?
Yeah. You see him look up to that big guy?
That's a great shot there. It did really tickle me. 5'6", 120 pounds, soaking wet, 6'7", 275.
And you look at the reaction of some of the spectators that are viewing. Mr. Reichert, who is with the Brunswick people. And of course, Commissioner Antonora. Frank Baker, an honoree today. And this is Norm Duke, 19 years old, from Mount Pleasant, Texas.
7 steps, playing outside. Comes in light, gets a light hit. He just mowed through the field in Cleveland this year, and he defeated Steve Cook in that field. He has 7 steps, holds the ball for about the first 3, then has this enormously high backswing, good slide, good follow-through, and right on balance. See how his hand is open as he lets that ball go? It indicates how relaxed he is. He's a very cool young man.
He averaged 210.5 during the week.
Wow, let me see if I got this right, the 2-4-6-10. And I should point out that when we saw Steve Cook get 3 on the right there, that third ball in the 10th frame, he was practicing on the 6-pin because he had missed it earlier. As we see the shot, he's just a little slow here. Gets the ball out where he wanted, but not hard enough. And it cuts right through the heart of the pins. This is possible to make. He hits that 2-pin on the left. He can slide it over into the 6-10. Be interesting to see if he throws a hook at this head, or whether he throws it straight. I think he's going to try and hook it. He does. And hits the 2-pin, 2-flush. I'm getting confused here with all my pins. But anyway, hits the 2-pin, 2-flush. It's 8 out, open in the first frame. Norm Duke takes an immediate 12-pin lead.
Those opens will kill you. Had a high game this week of 279.
Well, there's nobody can throw more strikes than Steve Cook when he gets it going. Lane 21, a little more speed this time. He's high again and leaves the 2-7-8. So he hits the nose twice and gets 2 splits. This is a very similar shot. He needs to hit the 2-pin on the left, but full enough that the ball will get the 8 and still deflect and get the 7. The ball has to hit all 3 pins on this spare to make it properly.
And he's well aware of the fact that a win today would move him into the top 5 in money earnings this year. Right now, he's got a bit of a challenge ahead of him.
Certainly does. A difficult split here is not the easiest one. He's going cross lane at this. A lot of speed. Hits a 2-flush. It almost bounces back out, and he's open twice. Gives Norm Duke an enormous 23-pin lead before Duke even has a chance to throw his second ball. Now, Duke couldn't have asked for a better opportunity than this. He can strike a couple times here. He can put his opponent away early in the match. So important in match play competition, Ed, that when your opponent opens, you've got to take advantage of those, and you've got to strike yourself. Very relaxed hand as he puts those fingertip grip in, the thumb all the way in the ball. Again, the weight of the ball is in both hands. He tucks that little finger under. Not much time. Right over the first arrow. It's light. Breaks out the 5-pin, leaves the 2-4. He's been light on all of his practice balls. He didn't get up. He was missing the head pin, in fact, on his practice balls. He gets 4 when he comes over. Has a relatively easy spare, although the last time I said that, Steve Cook whiffed the 6-pin, so maybe we better just wait and see here.
Bowled his first game at age 5, then laid out a year, and then from age 6 on, has never put the ball down. There's his mom and stepdad, right, who are up here from Texas. She is the proprietor of a bowling alley down there.
And hits the 2-pin on the left. Did not make it. Sparrow's been a little shaky here. The crowd is kind of quiet. The bowling has kind of gone into a little bit of a lull right here. Nobody's really exciting the crowd by strings of strikes or anything. And everybody's kind of stunned at this.
Second year on the tour for Norm Duke.
And Norm's taking his time, too. We've got some deliberate players on the show today. If they'd gotten Ernie Schlegel and myself on then, they might never have finished.
Nah, come on, Mike. You don't want to reveal all your secrets. 1 PBA title. 19 years old.
Right there. Pretty shot. Solid, the 1-3. Moved in just a little bit about to the 7th board that time. He's very smooth. High backswing. Good lift on the fingers. About the 7th board. Ball holds pocket for him. Bam. Cook needs to pick up that speed here. Moved a little bit right here on this right lane, I think. Picked up the speed. And that's what he needs right there. Moved in closer to the first arrow. Not so much hanging the ball over the edge.
Rolled a 208 against Ted Hanna. Ted Hanna's to advance to beat Norm Duke. But right now he's got a large deficit.
Down 23 pins. Norm Duke's prowling around looking for something that he's lost back here. Steve Cook's giving him kind of an evil eye, wondering what he's doing back there.
Looking for some tape. That's what they're going to get him now, some tape.
Down 23, cut it down to 13 with a double. Gives this one more room. Here it comes. Oh, and breaks up the split, leaves only the 3-pin. Had the 3-7-9 up there for a minute, and suddenly that good shot he had has gone to high light. And he's looking there and just gives this one more room. Out close about the 2nd board. It breaks late here. The head pin goes to the wall, and you see that pin nudged the 7-pin out, and the 9-pin fell also. Had that split up there. Now he missed the 6-pin in the first match. Makes the 3-pin though. Shot it off the strike line.
So Steve Cook trying to regain some of the magic that he used to start off the fall tour when he won the Touring Players Championship in Limerick, Pennsylvania. And the big obstacle right now is a little obstacle, if you will, 5'6", 120-pound Norm Duke.
You know what I find ironic, too, is between these two players, Norm Duke throws the ball much harder than Cook. And when he really wants to zip it, if both of them try to really throw it hard, again, Duke throws it harder.
Is that right?
That's right. Seven steps. High backswing. About the 7th board. A little tight. Light the first frame, high this frame. He's got to hit about board 6, and I'm sitting right behind him, and if he doesn't hit it, it doesn't hit the pocket. Leaves the 4-7. Interesting, he picked a finish on lane 22.
Wes Bogle, president of the American Bowling Congress, and Chief Wapinski, executive director of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, sitting left and right. You just saw them.
Has the 4-7. So he's staying clean and not losing any count. And maintains that 23-pin advantage. Halfway through the match, almost.
A gentleman in the dark suit sitting behind is Mr. Jack Reichert, who is the chairman of the Brunswick Corporation. And haven't they been active in the bowling world?
Certainly have been one of our best sponsors throughout the years.
And the tour now over $5.5 million worth every year and growing. And there'll be more, Mike Durbin.
Next year's going to be our biggest year yet. He's high, breaks up the split. In fact, gets 9 out of it. Leaves only the relatively easy 6-pin. Boy, this was another thing that kept the scores down this week, is when that ball hit the nose, you got a split just so many times. He's very fortunate here. He's left of target, laid it short, breaks up the left side, and that pin, 7-pin, came all the way around and got the 10. That's how to make the 7-10. Cross lane at the 6-pin. He'll throw straight at it. Has the spare. Keeps it at 22 pins in a low-scoring match right now.
And we will be back as we continue this David and Goliath challenge between Steve Cook and Norm Duke when we return after these words.
When I broke into the majors, I was 19. I hit 23 home runs, batted .311, and had 87 RBIs that year. But you know what? I could have been refused a credit card. I was young and didn't have a credit history. I'm sure many of you out there want a Visa or a MasterCard credit card, but think you're not qualified.
If you've been refused a credit card because you're young, divorced, don't earn enough, not at your address or job long enough, or had credit problems, call Time Saver for a Visa or MasterCard credit card
at 1-800-USA-1000.
There's a one-time $25 application fee, and a minimum $300 savings account is required at Key Federal Savings and Loan. Your application fee is refunded if not approved.
Call 1-800-USA-1000. In Georgia, call 1-800-222-7272.
So don't get stuck on the bench. Get into the swing of things with a Visa or a MasterCard credit card through Time Saver. Get credit where credit is due.
For people who take their rock and roll seriously, Night Flight delivers. Everyone who's anyone is talking about it.
Hi, I'm Grace Jones.
Hi, this is Adam X.
Hi, this is Steve Miller. When I fly like an eagle, I fly a night flight.
Night Flight takes off to explore topics and trends in music culture.
Hi, this is Wendy O from the Plasmatics.
Hi, Love and Oneness. This is Jimmy Cliff.
I'm Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees.
Night Flight offers a commercial-free half hour of the week's hottest films and videos.
My name is Ian Hunter.
We're here on Night Flight here on the USA Network.
Night Flight.
Night Flight. Your connection with cults, classics, concerts, and more.
Good night, Flight.
If you're ready to reach new heights of music experience, you're ready for Night Flight, cable TV's original music show.
So watch it.
It's gonna be great.
Every Friday and Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on USA.
We're at the Brunswick Northern Bowl in Glendale Heights, Illinois. This is the scene of the '83 Brunswick Memorial World Open. Good crowd, as we've mentioned. And Big Steve Cook filling out that picture. Cook right now is down 22 pins as he gets set to roll here in the 5th frame.
He's only hit the pocket once in his first 4 frames. He needs to get himself together. And he still is in this match. 22 pins could be picked up easily with a couple of strikes. A lot of speed that time. And there's the one he almost left the last time, the 3.79. Right now, what has happened, I think, with Steve Cook is the oil on his side of the lane, or the dressing, has been carried down the lane, and the ball is just not finishing like it was. And when he lays it a little bit short or right of his target, it goes right through the nose. Now, he's going to throw hard and straight at this 3.9 and hope to bounce it out of there. No, he doesn't. He decides to just throw it soft and hope it'll bounce out, and it doesn't. And he's open again, and he's really opened the door for Norm Duke. 63 in the 5th. He's down 36 pins.
3rd time he's left himself open here in this match. Got to make spares.
Well, there have been some difficult spares to make.
Oh, they have been.
Those wide open splits, that's the penalty of throwing that gigantic hook ball. It's tremendous when you get it in the 1-2 pocket and strike, but if you don't get it there, you can leave it all sorts of weird things up at the end of the lane.
36 pins down.
Gives this one a little more speed, and there's one he's looking for. Finally gets the strike. And here comes our David in this David-Goliath match, only this David is not using 5 smooth stones. He's using 1 urethane bowling ball.
But I do think he has a slingshot stuffed in that back pocket. That little pouch. We'll find out. He handles that ball like it's a softball.
He certainly does, doesn't he?
He's a strong little guy.
Well, bowling this time, he's changed his angle on this right lane. Amazing. In the middle of the match, he's moved inside. Right over the 14th board, it's high. And leaves a solid 10 on the Brooklyn, says, all right.
Now, why do you suppose he's done that?
Because one of two reasons. He's not hitting the pocket from the outside, decides that is not the angle. The bowlers practiced for an hour. He said maybe he knows what the lane's going to do inside. He's going to try it in there. He's well ahead in the match. And I'll tell you, these young players do anything nowadays. Moves inside in the middle of the match, bowling for $20,000. Has the 10 pin. It'll be interesting to see what he does on this left lane. Cuts it down to 35 pins.
35 pins a lead for that young fella. And there it is, graphically displayed for you.
98 to 63, but Cook is on a strike. Cook is still potential 213 if he would strike it all the way up. So the match is not over, although Norm Duke is in the driver's seat. He's moved inside on the left lane too, Eddie. He's moved in closer to the third arrow. That's amazing that he would do that in the middle of this match. Light breaks it down, leaves only the 2 pin. He's getting a lot of breaks on his spares, maintaining good count. That could have left the 2, 4, 5, 8 and left only the 2 pin.
You know, he has a lot of savoir-faire for a 19-year-old.
He certainly does. But then again, a lot of moxie, I'll tell you.
When you consider the fact that at 19 he's already won 50 or made $50,000. I don't know about you, but I didn't see my 50,000 first 50 until I was well beyond 19. I mean, well beyond.
I've had my best years since I turned 40. So has the 2 pin, keeps filling the frames, forcing Cook to string strikes to catch up. Cook right now, though, is down 34 pins, is in a must-strike situation. If he can strike twice here, he could cut it first to 24 and then to 14 and really put some pressure on Norm Duke.
Thinking about what his chore is ahead. Maintain the lead. And Cook's got to play some catch-up.
He's hardly had any taps when he's got the ball in the 1-2 pocket. His problem has been getting it in there. A lot of time. Takes a lot of time this time. He's high. A Brooklyn. That's it. He's carried 3 for 3 on that side of the lane for a double.
That Brooklyn has been his most effective shot today.
One show that he was on either last year or the year before in Garden City, I believe that he had 8 Brooklyns inside of 2 or 3 games.
He's not happy with his game right now. Packs that rosin in some more here at the Brunswick Memorial World Open, and there are some of the foreign bowlers. There were 17 of them that competed in this tournament, and 3 of them finished in the money. 17. As bowling has certainly made its mark all around the world.
Certainly has.
Steve Cook has also.
Cuts it to 14 if he can get this one. That looks better. And gets 7 pin out of there. Cuts it down to 14 pins. He took advantage of that break he got with that Brooklyn. Again, he's still potential 213. When you get those breaks, you've got to be able to take advantage of them. He did. He made his best shot of the match here. Good speed, good lift, and the ball roars back. Watch that 4 pin snap that 7 pin right out of it. Cook looks a little warm there, and Duke stays inside on this right lane. Gives this one more room right there. And leaves a solid 4-9. Unbelievable. The best shot he threw of the match, and he gets a split with it.
Never seems to get rattled. Very cool young fellow.
Tough spare. 4-9. He's got to hit the 4 pin on the left and try and slide it over into the 9. I did not make one of these this week. I didn't leave that many, but I didn't make any. If he misses this, if he gets 9 out, it would be a 1-pin match. And he gave it a shot and just didn't quite hit it thin enough. And it's a 1-pin match right now. Norm Duke is ahead by 1 pin.
Spent a lot of time, you can tell it, the bowling alleys over the years. As I mentioned, his mom owns a bowling alley down in Texas, where they're from, Mount Pleasant. And he has been bowling ever since he was age 6.
And is known as a action player. He has ball, will bowl for money.
Oh boy. Perfect championship round record, 4-0.
High again. Leaves the 3-6. And right now, Steve Cook is in the driver's seat. He's down a pin, but he's on 3 in a row and can pull this match right out.
And he's Cook sizing that score up.
Looking at the score, adding it all up.
The winner will get Wayne Webb, who's had quite a week.
He's got to have this spare. 3-6. On the left, almost chops it, makes the spare barely. We don't have a high-scoring match, but we certainly have a tight one here. Here's the big shot of the match right now. Cook went Brooklyn on this lane in the 7th frame. Had a split on it in the 5th frame. Had a strike in the 3rd, a split in the 1st. He's hit the pocket 1 time.
Finished 2nd in the '83 Denver Open. Trying to finish number 1 here in this Brunswick Memorial World Open today. Steve Cook.
Looks good. Looks good. First shot of the match puts him 9 pins ahead. Puts him 9 pins ahead. What a comeback.
36 pins down in the 6th frame. He's come back and has gone ahead.
Good lift. See him head right down on that target. He knows it's in the pocket as soon as he let it go. Takes a re-rack on lane 21. He's 9 pins ahead. Strike here, and he locks it up. There we see 144. Spare up 123 with a double working for Cook. Cook is 9 pins ahead.
Remember now, the man he's up against has never lost a game on TV, Norm Duke.
What a comeback.
Wow. With 3 opens in the match.
Tense concentration. He doesn't know whether it's going to hold, and he says it does. Now he comes over and looks at the score, checks it out with Harry Golden.
He's charged up now.
Certainly is. He's ready for Wayne Webb.
Another little guy, we might add.
And it doesn't matter. It's 1 ball too late. He's going to be a winner. He gets 9 out. He finished with 199. The best Norm Duke can do is 194.
And that in itself is a departure, Mike, because before this, young Norm Duke had averaged over 240 in championship play.
Well, Duke decided to move inside there in the middle of that game, and that might have been a strategic error.
Be interesting to find out what his reaction to that is.
But what a comeback by Steve Cook. He got that Brooklyn for that break he needed in the 7th frame, and that was the thing that turned it around.
The Brooklyn has been working for him today, and despite the fact that he left 3 opens here in this match, he is going to move on. See if he'll be the man that'll take the big check, $23,000 in the trophy home.
I wonder if Norm Duke has not figured out the score properly and thinks that he still has a chance in this match as much time as he's taking. He thought he still had a chance, I think, in this match, but he was locked out. He didn't know it.
Well, he's got a lot of years ahead of him, Mike.
He certainly does. He has a bright future ahead of him in the sport of bowling.
The youngest champion in PBA history when he won the '83 Cleveland Open at age 18 this past spring.
Winds up chopping the bucket, finishes with 169. What a turnaround.
Tremendous.
By 36 and wound up winning by 30.
Came back after leaving 3 open frames and wins at 199-169. And that sets the stage for our final round. It'll be Big Steve Cook against Wayne Webb when we return.
Thanksgiving weekend and the big USA 1 year-end sales drive is on. Chevy dealers are out to sell 250,000 cars and trucks by year's end. With so many to sell, it's dealing time. There's another reason to see your Chevy dealer. You can save $255 on a specially equipped S10 pickup or $730 on a tough C10 pickup. And for the first time ever from Chevrolet, take retail delivery now on any of these selected models only and make no monthly payment until March 1st with GMAC financing. See your Chevy dealer now.
For years now, we've been kidding Jim here about his eyesight. The fact is that Jim has the eyes of an eagle.
Thanks, Boog.
Why, he's one of the first guys to spot light beer from Miller. Saw right away that light tastes great and it's less filling.
Sure, all you have to do is read the label. It says light has 1/3 less calories than a regular beer.
I think you want this, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
As I was saying, it's as plain as the nose on your face.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Since time began, it's been hard to tell the men from the monkeys. Now the USA movie takes a historical look at man's evolution, from the rights of love to the ethics of work.
See you Monday, Stanley.
Victoria Principal and Johnny Crawford have a hairy time in The Naked Ape at noon Eastern on USA Friday. The USA Network brings you an evening of music, movies, and memories. First, Lisa Robinson surveys your top video picks of the past year on Radio 1990. Next, a special primetime night flight features the hottest music from today's hottest films. Then, take a rare look at the life and career of a rock legend on the USA movie, Janis. Share music's magic moments with Radio 1990, Night Flight, and Janis on the USA Network, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Monday.
Get ready for some hard driving when USA takes you out to the Grand American Race. It's coming up next on USA.
Steve Cook on the left. You've seen him. Now, the #1 obstacle, Wayne Webb on the right. He's the leader coming in. And this is it. This is for the big one. $23,000. The loser will get 12. Not a bad payday. Now look at the difference. Another David and Goliath. Wayne Webb is 5'5", but he's a solid 5'5" at 145 pounds. Cook, huge, gargantuan, 6'7", 275. That's our latest statistical update. That's what he told Mike Durbin just prior to the event today.
But both of them throw that big hook bowling ball. Well, Cook's is probably bigger than Webb's. Gets it out there and doesn't leave the split. Leaves the 369. A lot of speed on that shot. Webb seemed lost in practice. He played inside most of the week, and he's going to play the channel right next to the edge today.
He's got his lucky green outfit on today, though. I want to talk more about that when we see Wayne step up to the line. And right now, we've got the man who is affectionately known as the Cookie Monster, Steve Cook.
Oh, misses the spare. Gives an opening to Webb right out of the gate.
Well,
either feast or famine with Cook. It's either strike or no count.
Well, remember, he had 3 opens in the last match and still won it.
And he had won the game before that.
That's right.
He's had 5 opens already now.
And his best shot today has been coming in from the Brooklyn side. Here's Wayne Webb.
Webb's high. Leaves a difficult spare, the 369 right out of the gate.
Wayne is from just outside Indianapolis, Carmel, Indiana. And that green outfit you see that he has on, the last time I did an event where Wayne was in the championship round, he won it. It was a year ago in Detroit, and he had the same outfit, same shirt. I reminded him of it.
And he has a tough spare right here. And doesn't get it. So both players open in the first frame, 9 apiece.
So throw away the first frame.
Yep, it's a 9-frame match now. They're even. Webb is a recent new bowling proprietor. He owns now Wayne Webb Lanes that are in Indianapolis. He wanted me to be sure to mention that for him.
Wayne Webb Lanes, not Wayne Webb Waynes.
On the left lane, high again. And open.
Now, Mike, you alluded to the
7,
fact, you alluded to the fact that the oil on the lanes might be changing a little. Do you suppose that might be creating some of the problems that we're running into here?
Well, Webb had trouble from the word go. As soon as he came out to practice today, he has not been able to find a line in an hour of practice and decided that the gutter was the best shot he had. He was just short with that shot. He did not hit his target with that shot. He was left of target and paid the full price. So Cook opens in the first frame and takes the lead in the match by 12 pins.
Isn't that interesting?
And especially having your opponent, the first match, bowl 160, or the second match, 169 at you. 191 the first match. On the right lane, he's high, leaves the 2-4-7. And suddenly, this might come down to a battle of spares here. Although when Cook gets it going, he seems to be able to get it together for 3 or 4 frames in the match and get 4 or 5 in a row, or 3 or 4 in a row. He's got a tough spare here, the 2-4-7. Not an easy spare, although he's had better luck with spares on the left side of the lane. He has the right side of the lane. Has the spare perfectly. Maintains his 12-pin lead.
Well, he's had a pretty good week on the TV pair with a 235 average.
All the players bowled well on the TV pair until today.
And it'd love to duplicate this high on the TV pair at 244. Question is, can he? 12 up, third frame. You saw him last week. He finished second in the Syracuse Open behind Joe Salvemini.
He's really nervous. His legs are shaking a little bit there, trying to get loose. Shot he's looking for. Pretty shot that time. Keeps his 12-pin lead. There it is, out near the channel. Good lift, a little softer speed than the first frame, and the 4-pin just snaps that 7. He hasn't left a 7-pin yet. Or he did leave 1 in the first match. Webb's high again, and has the 3-6 again. Doesn't have company this time, so it should be a little bit easier spare. Let's watch Webb in practice. The reason he's going high here is because he knows that if he gives it room, that he misses the head pin.
Third championship round appearance this year. Made 9 appearances. Championship round at 82.
And he's in trouble. Misses that spare also. So Webb is not presenting much of a challenge here to Wayne Webb. The 26 in the third. Not a mark yet. He's got to do something different. He can't just keep throwing the ball where he's throwing it. He's got to take a chance and move somewhere else. But he doesn't. It's high again. Oh, it held that time. It was on the board.
And he's saying, finally, finally, where have you been?
Over about the first arrow, and the ball looked high at that point, and then set up. Looked like it was going to go high and stopped right at the pocket.
He won it in '78 here, and then finished second in 1981 at the Brunswick Northern Bowl. Glendale Heights, Illinois. And now Steve Cook, who finished second here last year, would like to move up one notch higher.
Sir. Strike. Subscribe.